Guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I have a very special guest. Yeah, I found her channel through a community post by Ed Kane. And what attracted me to her channel was that she is a single mom living in the Dominican Republic, when most of the time you see guys relocating to the island. That attracted me. And not just that, that she is living in a part of Dominican Republic, which is Las Terrenas. They have that many tourists. I was interested on her story, so welcome Kelly. She go by the name Free Island Girl Love on her channel. So guys, go and subscribe to her channel. She have a lot of good information, Las Serenas and Dominican Republic. So welcome Kelly to my channel.
Thank you. Thank you for so much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm also gonna leave her information on the video description below, so that way you can go and click to her. So Kelly, give us a little bit of background about yourself. What part of the U.S. are you from, and what are you used to do after living in the U.S.?
Okay, so I'm from California, and you're right. I'm here living in the Dominican Republic with my son. Just the two of us came down. We've been here for over a year and a half, not quite 2 years. It'll be 2 years in February. And I came initially, we moved to Santiago in 2016, just for the summer. And I was a professor at a university called Pucamaima. It has a long name, but people here know it by Pucamaima. Yeah, so I was an English professor there for the summer. We visited lots of different parts of the country, and the last place we went to was Las Terrenas, because I'd been reading about Las Terrenas, and people were saying, oh, you have to go to Samaná, Terrenas, because it's beautiful, and there's lots of different cultures there. There's, French and Italians and all kinds of people. So I went to check it out, excuse me, and loved it. It's beautiful. The ocean is beautiful. The native people, the Dominicans, lovely, lovely people. And I knew I wanted to live there, but I didn't know how. So it took me a year and a half to work it out. Pucamaima offered me a job, but I needed something more. I didn't want to stay in Santiago. I'm a lawyer. I do entertainment law. I'm able to do it from my home because I do contracts. So anyone out there who's singing and dancing or, doing TV shows, that's what I do here. Yeah, that's what I do here. And I wanted to share with people what it's like to leave your home country and move to someplace totally foreign, and be able to, that's really to inspire people that you can do it, especially, as you said, single women. Dominican Republic is known for being like a fabulous place for men to come because the women are so beautiful and they want to come and enjoy the beautiful women and the culture. But women can come too, even single, and really have a good time here. So that's what we did.
Oh, very, very interesting story. I like it. And yeah, I know Pucamaima is a very well-known college over there. Restaurant next to that at the university, but in Santo Domingo, no Santiago, but by the same campus. So yeah, interesting. And like you say, most people when they first visited Dominican Republic, they go on vacation, and you went on vacation. When was that you first visited Dominican Republic? The first time?
Actually, I was in 2016, 2016, and I was actually working though. We weren't on vacation. I was working here for the summer. But we would do little like weekend vacations. We went to Puerto Plata and Cabarete and all that, and then we did Jarabacoa. And the last place we went to was Las Terrenas. But I was working all summer and just got little bits of time in between. We went to Haiti while we were here. Beautiful. I mean, the whole island is beautiful. And so I was like, I think I might want to come live here, Yeah, so.
Okay, so you have, first went there, it wasn't like you wasn't go to visit it. You have an opportunity to go and work?
Yeah, I had a job. I had a contract with the university for the summer to teach all summer. And I had always wanted to live outside of the U.S. I'd done a lot of traveling, but I'd never lived like full time in another country. And this was my chance to do that. And I thought, because my son was really young at the time, I didn't want to go too far from home, or I know the language. So it felt safe for me to come here. And, I had a job, I had everything all set up for me. So it made it kind of easy to come and do that. And I wasn't afraid. A lot of people are afraid to travel and to go do something, but it's like, if you don't like it, you go home. But, it's 2 hours from Miami. It's easy.
Yes, it's easy.
Yeah.
Can be. During that time that you went to visit, I mean, that you went to work in the Dominican Republic, how were you treated by a local? And any expectation of how people will receive you there?
So I had no expectations. I didn't know what I didn't really know what to expect, but I always kind of expect the best because I feel like I'm traveling with a good heart and I'm kind, I'm open, I enjoy meeting people. And so my experience was really very good. I tell people you can go anywhere and have problems with people. Are there people here who will try to take advantage of you? Yes, there's people who will try to take advantage of you all over the world. So I don't think the Dominican Republic deserves a reputation as a place that is dangerous or where people are bad or any of those kinds of things. I think I found it to be a really warm and inviting place. Most of the people I know here and have met here have been really nice to me and my son. I feel safe as a single woman here. I feel safe with him, playing with other kids, going to school. I feel safer here than I do in the US, for sure.
Okay. And I'm Dominican, so I understand that Dominican people are very welcoming people.
Yeah.
And some state you have the feeling that people are pretty much tolerant. Did you feel that the way that they were treating you, that was genuine? That was were genuine with you? That was something that was just the feeling that they was treating you like that because you was a tourist?
No, no, no. In fact, people think I'm Dominican because I look Dominican, I guess, and my son, looks Dominican. So people think we're Dominican. So initially, but I'm really, really tall, right? I'm 6'2", so I'm really, really tall, and most Dominicans are not that tall, even the men. So they knew that there was something different about me, and I speak Spanish, but I don't speak like a Dominican. So people were really friendly, but they were really curious. And even when they found out that we're American, they didn't. I mean, some people sure think, oh, well, you must be rich, that kind of thing. But it's like, I'm not here with a bunch of money. And some people were just very curious, but people really, for the most part, were just very friendly and are still friendly. As I said, there's always some people in different places who will try to take advantage of any situation. But if I felt like people were trying to hurt me here or take advantage of me, like most of the people were doing that, I wouldn't stay. I wouldn't keep coming back. And as I said, it's been almost 2 years, and we're having a good experience. So I like it.
That's good. What did you choose the Dominican Republic, and what about the country helped you that decision to live there?
So initially, I actually did not choose the Dominican Republic on purpose. And what I mean by that is I said I was trying to, I wanted to live outside of the country for a long time. I wanted my son to grow up a little bit outside of the U.S. I wanted to live outside of the U.S. for a long time because, the U.S. has a lot of problems now. But back when Obama was in office, Cuba was an interesting country because, you could go and visit then. And I was really interested in Cuba. So I looked at that initially. I just wanted to go visit or potentially live there. But that wasn't really the right fit. And so when I was doing research online for Cuba, I came across an organization called CIEE that does study abroad programs and teach abroad programs. And I'm not officially an educator, but I've had some teaching experience. And so I, contacted the organization and found out that there were chances to teach all over the world. But the only place where you could teach for just a summer was here in the DR. I didn't want to go away for a year with my son, to China or to Spain. I wanted something that was a shorter period of time so I could test it out first and see how I liked, because I'm single with a young. At the time, I think it was 5 or 6 years old. And so I didn't want to go away for that long with him. And the DR was the one place where they had the summer opportunity. And I thought, well, who doesn't want to spend a summer on a beautiful Caribbean island? And so that's how it worked out. And I don't remember what the second part of your question was, but that's how we got here. And then it was well, how do I figure out where, how to stay? I didn't want to be in Santiago. I didn't find any other part of the country that I really, really liked until we got to Terenas. Then I was like, okay, this is where I want to live because it's beautiful.
That's the place.
Town. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that it worked out pretty well. I mean, you went to teach for summer and then you decided to stay. I guess the experience is very good.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. There's always challenges. I mean, you can move to a new city in your same state or in your state. You can move across town, across the street, and there's challenges moving, of course, but it's nothing that I can't handle. And like I said, if something really bad were happening, I wouldn't stay. But I feel safe. I feel happy for the most part. Um, I'm able to travel home during the summer, so I have some friends here now. When I go home for summertime, I see my friends there, and everybody at home is like, "Oh my gosh, you're living the dream. You're living in paradise." So, I'm happy. It's good.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's pretty. And most people will consider moving to another country not normal. Was there a breaking point in your life that make you decide it is to go, or was just something that you say that that's something that you always wanted to do?
I did always want to do it, but I also, as you get older, sometimes you feel like, okay, there's things I want to do. Like it's almost like a bucket list. I want to check these things off. And so I've done a lot of different things. And I hit one of those milestone birthdays where I was like, okay, you better start doing whatever you want to do. You better hurry up. Time is passing by. And I wanted to live out of the country. And I wanted to, as I said, I wanted to raise my son at least partially out of the country, out of the US. And so that really pushed me to go ahead and give it a try. People at home were like, what are you going to do? They thought it was kind of crazy at first. Like, you're selling your car, you're selling all your furniture. And I was like, yeah, I'm selling it. And it felt really good to like let go of all that stuff. Like, what if it doesn't work out? And I'm like, well, if it doesn't work out, then I will come home. But I didn't have a lot of fear. I just felt like this is a good thing to do. It's, you have to take a risk to get the reward, right? And so I was willing to take that risk. And yeah, so it feels good.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing when you have like if you have that many because what people sometimes they want to like make that decision, but they scared about a lot of things. They be overthinking about what if it's this, what if it's that, and what if it is that. Yeah, so that's a good thing that you have that your mind set like that you just
get it. You have to be willing to try. I mean, if you don't try anything, you just be stuck in the same place forever, right? And so the fun comes in when it's a little bit scary sometimes, but you're not like in I wasn't going into a war zone. I wasn't doing anything that was really, really dangerous. And so, yeah, give it a try. That's what I say. Try. That's what I tell people on my channel. Like you said, free island girl love. Like try, just try. And if you plan and you do your research, it's not like you're just going blind. I didn't just come out here without knowing anything about the country. I did a little research. So that's what I recommend.
Okay, and when did you decide to move? How did your family and friends react then where I'm going, I'm moving?
So my family knows me well, of course, and they weren't surprised to hear that I was moving out of the country because they've known for a long time that this is the thing I do. I travel. It's easy for me to meet people and make friends. And so they were not surprised to hear that I was going to move. As I said, some of my friends were like, what are you doing? And you're taking your son, and aren't you scared? And, what if something happens? They were the ones who had a lot more fear. But I didn't have that fear. And it's funny because now some of the same people who were saying, oh, that's crazy or that's a bad idea are now saying, oh my gosh, how did you do it? I wish I could do it. We're stuck in the matrix and you escaped. You're living in paradise. And I'm like, well, it's not that hard to do. You can do it too. But a lot of people are stuck because of fear. They will not step outside of that box.
Yeah, exactly. They just fear. That's all.
Yeah.
And there are you that show Dominican Republic from one aspect, if that is sex tourism. Yeah, I'm sure, and you say that you did your research before you went. Yeah. But did any of that negativity influences in your decision?
Sex tourism? Well, no, because I feel like, so it's everywhere. It's not just in this country, and it's not just in like certain cities. Certain cities like Sosua are known for having a lot of people who come looking for, for a good time from ladies. And places like Punta Cana, you can go, and if that's what you're looking for, it's not hard to find. It's everywhere. It's in every country. It's all over the place. So that didn't bother me. And I was never concerned that was going to be a problem. No one ever approaches me as though I'm offering anything, because I think it's just, the way you carry yourself. Men know who's part of that game and who's not. I will say, though, that I did hear, like I read Junot Díaz's novel, The Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, the famous Dominican author. And in his book, he talks a lot about how Dominican men are just known for being sweet talkers, and they're brought up having all these women. They're like, when they're 5 and 6 years old, it's like, oh, you got to get a girlfriend. And so Dominican men are just super smooth and you got to watch out for them. And so I had that on my mind. And I will say, aside from like the sex tourism, definitely, you know, Dominican men have a certain way about them. And I talked about that in one of my videos, I guess the one you saw, where I was like, well, you know, there's a lot of them are married or have girlfriends and will tell you all kinds of things. So you have to be careful. But, you know, but it's kind of predictable and it's manageable. It's not anything that I feel like, you know, a smart woman can't handle.
Yeah. Yeah, but they are very sweet talker, yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is for sure.
Mi reina, ay, corazón, mi vida,
Yeah.
you know, right? Cariño, no,
That's,
cariño, todo
yeah,
va, mi reina chula. Oh, okay.
tú eres la única.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, right, okay. Por este momento, sí, right?
En ese momento, claro. And how would you say this for you? How is it different? Because you choose Las Terrenas. How is Las Terrenas different for, let's say, Punta Cana or Babar or Santiago or Puerto Plata? You went over there, so those places to visit. How is it the difference?
Did you say the dating or just in general?
No, different. The difference
Oh,
between Terrenas and like Santiago, Puerto Plata for you. For your
yes.
experience.
Yeah, so Santiago I found was just really boring. I didn't like it at all. I didn't feel like there was much to do. Santiago is inland. It's closer to, for those who don't know, it's closer to the north part of the country, but it's about an hour from the coast, hour and a half from the coast. And it just, I didn't feel like there was a whole lot to do there. It wasn't, you know, we went to like the cultural center, we went to some movies, but it's like, yeah, the university where I taught was beautiful, beautiful campus, great brand new gym facility, but I didn't find it very interesting. And as a single person was like, yeah, I didn't, you know, didn't interest me very much. The North Coast, Puerto Plata, all that, I didn't spend a lot of time there. Just I went a couple of times, went to Cabarete. I did see what I believe was a sex trade in action there, so that kind of turned me off. I didn't think the beaches were as pretty up there. Punta Cana is just super touristy, right? It's like resort. And, you know, it didn't feel like real life was happening there. When I got to Terenas, you know, I mean, there are definitely people who are tourists there, but it's much smaller. Like a lot of people don't know about Las Terenas. There's a huge European population of people who live there full time, or they're like 6 months in Terenas, 6 months in Europe or Canada or wherever. But there's a huge there's still like a real strong Dominican feel, and Haitians. There's a mixture of like local people there, and I like that a lot because it's quieter. They're, you know, they're cute little boutiques, great restaurants, or things to do. You can go dancing, bachata, salsa, all of that. And so it felt to me like a nice blend of all those things. Plus the beaches are phenomenal. And as I said, it's not super touristy. There's a couple of like the big hotels, but they're on the outskirts of town. They're not like the main part of what's happening there. So I love it. It's you know,
I heard a lot of
pictures. It's beautiful. Huh?
I said that I have heard a lot of good things about Las Terrenas.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah, I
beautiful.
wanna go over there.
If you come visit me.
Yeah, I'm going over there in December. Yeah, I'm thinking in visit. No, like the Dominican Republic. Yeah, I'm thinking in going different places. So I'm thinking in probably one of the places that I want to go and visit is Las Terrenas. So if I'm there, I'm inviting you. Then we can go out to have lunch.
Definitely. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
Are you gonna be there in December?
Yeah, I think I may go visit some family on the East Coast, but I will be there for probably most of the month. So yeah, come see me. Let me know.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I will. And what is the cost of living in Las Terrenas? Let's say by your experience looking for places to live. Like let's say for somebody that wanted to move there, like 1 or 2 bedroom apartment or house.
So I tell people, generally speaking, to live in the Dominican Republic is about a third of what you would pay in the U.S. I mean, that's really general. Las Terrenas is it's a lot less expensive than living in the U.S. However, it's more expensive than living in some really small towns, right, in the DR. Like you can live in whatever, some Pedro de Macorís or whatever, some like a small town or places that are not that busy with tourists for living little money. Los Angeles, you're going to pay a little bit more because you have more amenities. But for a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, you could get something for as low as like $500 or $600. You can go up and pay more. But I know people who are paying not that much money. I think a good ballpark is maybe 800 for like a nice apartment. Um, kind of close to the beach, has the things that people like. Most of the apartments come furnished, so you don't have to bring your even like dishes or sheets. You can leave all that stuff at home. I paid less than 800 for a house, for a big, beautiful house. So people were like, how can you possibly pay less than $800? But I do. I got a great deal. I'm not right on the beach, but I mean, it's such a small town. I can get to the beach in maybe 10 minutes. So yeah, but easily under $1,000. If you want to spend more than $1,000 and just have like the fly pad, you can do that, But there's plenty of places available for, I'd say $500, $600, $700, $800, and even less if you want to live more like a local person. You don't need any of the fancy stuff. You can pay even less. Just depends on what you want.
Depending on that's a really good prices. I mean,
Yeah,
to live there, yeah, it's very.
It's affordable.
And now, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And now that you have lived and has your opinion changed since you first moved there?
Has my opinion changed about moving here, about living here?
But Dominican Republic, has it changed since from the first time that you moved there, now that you have been living there for a while?
Well, so now I know more about the country, right? I know more about what to expect. And one thing I tell people when they're considering moving here is leave your expectations at home. If you're coming from the US, we're used to things happening quickly, right? And like getting quick customer service. Or if we have a complaint, we tell the manager and it gets fixed right away. It's very different here, right? Like people just have a different way of living. It doesn't mean they don't care, but it just means that that's not necessarily always the focus. And so you have to leave your expectations at home. There is such a thing as island time. Things tend to happen more slowly. People aren't in a hurry. If you have a leaky faucet, it'll get fixed, but it might be a couple of days. What works best is if you're really kind to people, if you're really sweet and you use that, hey, mi amor, you kind of like talk back to them in a really sweet way too. If you're sweet, it's like they say, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. If you get mad and you're, angry with people, they are not going to respond to you, right? Or it's going to take a long time. So you just kind of take it easy. I mean, as long as you have some food to eat, some water, you know what I mean? Your basic needs are covered. You're going to be fine. And trust me, I'm not living like in a horrible situation. I'm very comfortable. But really, it's like, understand that you're coming into not just another country, but another culture. Even though we're really close to the US, the culture is very different. The way men and women relate to each other is different. For example, people here can walk into like a bank or a colmado, which is like a corner store, or any kind of business, and you greet each other. You say saludos, you say hello, just in general. So there's just different ways of functioning. People always speak to each other. In the US, you can live next door to someone for 20 years and never really speak to them. And people are very warm and comfortable and friendly here. So you just have to be open and realize that you're going to have a different experience. But if you just take it easy and you ask for help and you're open, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's in one of my previous videos that people here and there are very different. Yeah, I've been knowing my neighbor for years, and they name. I don't even know the face. I see them outside in the street. I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your neighbors can become like your family here. They look out for you, and especially me as a single mother with a child. People look out for me. They pay attention to like who's in my house, or if my son is at home, I'm not there. I know that I feel safe with it. So it's nice to have that, like that village thing people talk about. It's really true here.
That's very, very nice.
Yeah.
And I know that you mentioned that you were an entertainment lawyer back in the States. Is that how you met yourself now? You are still doing that kind of job?
Yeah, so I do entertainment law, as I mentioned, and so here in the Dominican Republic, I do teach English to some businesses, but that's just money I make on the side. That's not the money that I really, really live off of. The money that I make to like pay my rent and everything, that comes from me being a lawyer and I can just use my computer in my house, and I do contracts for people. Mainly I do contracts. And so that is the money that I'm able to live off of here. And I guess if I were in the United States, I could make more money because I'm just be connected to more people. But it's a trade-off. So it's like, do I want to make more money, or do I want to have maybe not make as much money, but live the kind of life where I'm relaxed? I can go sit on the beach in the afternoon and just like watch the ocean and, not be stressed out, not have traffic. And for now, at least, this is what feels good to me. How long will I live here? I don't know. But for now, this works. So yeah, so I do the lawyer thing to pay my big bills.
Yeah, I see. I see your videos. I see how relaxed you are, just right on the beach,
Yeah.
making your videos, which is really.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you teach English on the side. Do you have any other job that people can do on the side, like if they decide to move over there?
There are teaching English is a big one. And as I said, I'm not like an official or formal educator, but I've done enough, and I have enough of like credentials, I guess, that I'm qualified to teach English. Some people offer different kinds of services. I mean, there are people I know who've come down here and do massage. There's a woman I think from Spain who actually is like a psychologist. And so she's able to offer, like therapy to people in Las Arenas. I haven't met her, but I think that she's able to do that. Some people open restaurants or boutiques. There are people who do like nails and hair. There's sort of whatever your imagination will let you come up with is a possibility. People come down here and they'll do like camps for kids, whether it's technology or do swimming lessons. It's just sort of whatever you feel comfortable with. But again, I will say, be mindful that the money you make here is probably not going to be the same as you make wherever else you're coming from. It's going to be a lot less. And so have some savings or have a plan for how you're going to make that work. If I had to rely on just my teaching salary to pay my bills, I would not be comfortable. I'd be very stressed out. So, and I did come with a little bit of savings, and just been careful about how I spent my money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the money that you make there is nothing compared with the money that you are able to make here. So
Yeah.
yes, it's a big difference. Like if you thinking in so the money that little, it means a difference.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, and now moving out of this for everyone. Like we said before, some people that are scared if they should make this move or not. But by your experience, how can someone identify with themselves that moving out of the country is something good for them? Like it's a break in someone's life that you say, well, I need to go on living somewhere else.
So, it's a good question, but it's a personal question. You have to know, like, if it's something that you've always desired to do, if you have a desire to see the world, or you want to travel and you want to learn another language, you want to learn about another culture, then sure, moving away could be the thing to do, because it's very different from going on vacation. You can go someplace for a week or 2 weeks and you have a good time. You might meet a person or two, but you're not going to really, really know what it's like to absorb that culture and to be part of the flow unless you spend a long time there, like 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. And so I say, it isn't for everybody, right? Everybody doesn't desire to live on an island or live in Switzerland or live in Australia, whatever. You have to know what you are comfortable with. But I will say this, being comfortable doesn't mean like being comfortable all the time. They talk about stepping outside of your comfort zone. Anything you do that's going to be exciting and kind of a challenge is going to require you to step out of that box. And if you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone, like, what is the point? If you just want to keep doing the same thing, driving the same street every day, going to the same hair salon, going to the same grocery store, eating the same food, talking to the same people about the same thing, that's your choice. To me, that sounds boring. That sounds like, why would I want to do the same thing forever? I've done that, right? But moving into another country just opens up so many possibilities for you. Even if you say, I'm just going to do it for the summer, like I did initially, you can get a job like teaching for the summer, or you can come and just rent a house or rent an apartment and offer some services just to see what it's like. And the thing is, you'll never be the same, right? You'll have an experience that you can always treasure, and you can look back on it and go, wow, that was wonderful, or maybe some things that you didn't like, but you'll always be able to say, I tried. I did this thing that was amazing and changed my life in some kind of way. And that's what I think is really important for people to know, is that you have to be willing to just try something different, whether it's traveling, whether it's, running a marathon or starting a business. At least try. If you don't try, you're going to be sitting in the same spot forever, and 10 years, 20 years from now going, God, I wonder what would happen if I had tried that. And I never want to say, oh, shoot, I wish I had. So I did.
You couldn't have a better answer for that. That's what you call leave. What is the point? They always will be doing the same thing. You and me, you are not leaving. You pretty much die.
Yeah, exactly. It's like eating the same dinner every night, every day. Don't you want to try something different, like spaghetti? Okay, we know what spaghetti tastes like. Have some fish, right? Have a salad. Try something different.
Yes, definitely. And the YouTuber that I watched that relocate to the Dominican Republic, that they are either move with themselves or their spouse. But you, in your case, you move with your son. How difficult was to onboard him from the luxury of the US? And and did he wanted to move?
So I prepared my son. Like I said, I had known for a long time that I wanted to live out of the US, and I didn't know where we were going to go. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I put him in a bilingual school when he was 3 years old. So he began to learn Spanish at the age of 3. It was full immersion, and he was there for about 5 years. So by the time we left, I was comfortable that he'd be able to communicate. He could say how he felt. He could talk to people about what he liked or didn't like. If there was a problem at school, he could say, no me gusta, or, para no me gusta, those kinds of things. He could express himself. And so when I got the job, I was like, oh, good, he's ready. He's ready to go. Did he want to come? So he was with me that summer when I taught in the university. So he was exposed to it. Like, he had swimming lessons here, and he went to camp here that summer. So I got him a little bit used to the culture. I wouldn't say he was really like, wanting to go, but he was willing. He'd been with me before. I think he trusted me because we had a nice apartment. We had a nice experience. And even though I think part of him was a little bit sad for leaving his friends, he's kind of like me, right? Is that he's willing to try new things. And so, yeah, I think being prepared is a huge part of anything, doing research. And so as I said, we traveled around the country. He got to see different parts of the country. He spoke Spanish. He understood Spanish. And he realized that this was going to be something I think that would help him. We talked about, like, he was saying, well, I don't want to miss my friends. And I said, yeah, but you're not just going to leave those friends. You're going to make new friends here. So you'll have like twice as many friends now. I tried to really help him understand he wasn't losing anything. He was gaining. So I think if you are traveling with children, you want to really talk to them about what the positives are and acknowledge that, yes, you might miss your friends sometimes. That's normal. Doesn't mean we'll never see them again. Doesn't mean you won't ever be able to see your grandmother, but we're going to go do something different. And then you'll see. And it's so funny now because a lot of his friends from the old school have left the school, or they're doing different things. One of his friends from his old school moved to Las Arenas now because of us, and they're in the same school again. Amazing. So he gets to be the pioneer. Yeah.
You are a very smart woman. You knew what you wanted. You was already preparing yourself for what you wanted. That's good. That's amazing. You was preparing your son for whatever.
I tried. Parenting is a big experiment. We never know, right? You do your best and you hope it works out. But yeah, I tried my best, and so far, so good. Hope it keeps going well.
Okay. And how difficult was for him to adjust to the Dominican Republic?
I think the first 6 months was probably the hardest time because he started at one school, which was very different from his school at home. It's like a little Caribbean schoolhouse, no technology, no air conditioning, nothing fancy. It was a big, big change. But I also taught at that school for the first 6 months so that I was there with him and he could see me every day. And so even though he might have been feeling a little unsure, excuse me, the fact that I was there, I think made him feel more comfortable. And that's what I heard the most from him about, when are we going home? How much longer are we going to be here? You know, I miss my friends. And I was like, just trust me. Just let's keep focusing on the good stuff. And I promise you, you're going to see a change. And then we went home that summer. We went to Cuba, actually, then went home that summer. When we came back for the second year, he was in a different school, which was, you know, had more of what he was used to, like a better kind of school experience. And by then he was used to, we had a better home that we lived in. When we first got here, it was very unstable because the place we were going to live had been rented to someone else. It was kind of a mess, but we stuck with it. And, you know, we were like focusing on how good the mangoes are and the beautiful beaches. And he went boogie boarding. So I really tried to focus on what was good and remind him that every time you have a change, there's going to be a little bit of difficulty at the beginning, no matter even if you stay in the same city. It's just a little bit different. But to just push through that and trust your mom, trust God, trust the universe. It's all going to work out okay. And so now I think, you know, I think we're both doing much better. It's a process.
Yes, process to adjust, and more for a kid, they sometimes they don't understand, but it's a process.
Yeah.
Where you, even for a grown person, sometimes you need to take time to adjust.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to give yourself that time. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, and it's normal to go through that process.
And how is the school system for him? How he's associating? Is he associating fine with the local kids, or how he compared the school environment there versus the United States?
So it's a good question, because initially he has never been in a fully Dominican school here, because my research told me, and speaking to people, that like a public Dominican school, the education is really just not very strong. The educational system is not very strong. And he came from a really strong educational background. So I wanted to, on the one hand, I wanted to have experience with local kids, but I also wanted to keep up with what he was learning. So the first school was it was Spanish English bilingual school here. That was the one that was like, there's very little technology and kind of difficult. But he was exposed to a lot of local kids, a lot of Dominicans, Haitians, kids from all over the world, which I liked a lot. Now he's at a French school in Las Arenas, so he's being educated in French. He still has Spanish class, he's got an English class, but he's being educated in French. So that's a whole nother school system, which is different from the US. That one's stricter, kind of more rigid, not as creative as this old school, but it's giving him something that he couldn't get anywhere else, or at least unless he were in France. But what he is going to start doing, actually, we just went out today and he got a brand new baseball glove, baseball hat. He's going to start playing baseball with some local Dominican kids. I think that's going to be really fun, because then he'll get to be like really hanging out with the people who live around us, and, you know, learning like the Dominican slang the kids say. And, you know, he loves to dance, and he's like a fun kid. He likes to have jokes and everything. So then he'll get to learn kind of like what that's like. And I can't wait for that. I think he's going to have a great time, meet some new friends, kids that look like him. He'll get to practice his Spanish, and I think he's a little bit nervous, but, you know, we're always nervous when we try something new. But I think it's going to be really good. He's a great athlete. I think it'll be a lot of fun for him.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. He'll be having a lot of fun when they practice baseball over there.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they do over there, baseball, all the time.
Exactly.
And then, now talking about like business, for people that are interested in moving to the DR, being there, what is some of the business idea that you think will work over there? I think that you say a little bit about that. Or there in Las Arenas or in public in general.
So I can speak mostly about Las Arenas because that's what I see. As I mentioned, a lot of people come there and they want to open restaurants. My understanding is that restaurants are one of the hardest businesses to sustain. But there's some businesses, some restaurants that do really, really well. In Las Arenas, you might see a business that's open, or a restaurant that's open one season or first couple seasons, and then they're gone. Whether the people left or whatever, I don't know. Then there's some that have been there for years, like, you know, great French food or great Italian food, or, you know, the Dominican restaurants that local people do very well because the food is so good. Dominicans make amazing food, by the way. It's delicious. But as for foreigners, like I said, I know one woman who has a translation service. I know an American woman who moved to Punta Cana, and she has a travel business, like a travel agency. There's some people there. There's lots of hair salons by foreigners who do, whatever, color your hair, cut your hair, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people work with kids, teaching them either languages or like piano lessons or swimming lessons, things like that. Some people come and do like car rental companies. It's just, I mean, it's kind of like whatever your interests are, you can try it, but you're going to have to go through the Dominican government and get a business license. I don't think it's that difficult to do. So yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The Dominican government wants for there to be foreign investment here because, especially with the recent situation that happened with people dying, and the media made such a big deal out of that. And I can tell you, living here, like, nobody really noticed. I don't mean to be unkind to people who died, but like, it really is not that big of a deal. I mean, because there's people who, so many tourists die in other places and it doesn't really get it reported. I'm not sure why the Dominican Republic had such a hard time with that, but it's like everybody's fine, pretty much. But so the Dominican government really, really wants for foreigners to come and invest here, whether it's in different companies, agriculture. I spoke with some people a few months ago who are interested in doing exporting of cigars and things like that. I mean, there's just loads of opportunity. Just depends upon what your interest is and, what you're willing to do. If you're willing to come down here and make connections, it's all possible. Just, again, do your research. I can help you. Call me up. I'll help you. Seriously.
Yeah, just tell her up. She will help you to do some research. And do you have any ideas or business that you are interested in for you to get involved living in the Dominican Republic?
Businesses that I would want to be involved in?
Yeah, did you have any ideas or is any business that
sure, I've had ideas. So for example, there's a business now that's in Las Terrenas where they'll do food delivery, right? So if you're at home one night and you want to order in some Italian food, you want to have some fish or something, but you don't feel like going out to get it, it's called Comida with a K. Komida, and it's an app you download on your phone. They have a list of restaurants. You decide what you want to eat. You order it, and I guess you pay with your credit card. I haven't used it actually. You pay with your credit card, and they'll have someone on a little motorbike, will go to the restaurant, pick up your food, and bring it to your house for you. Delivery, great. There's something called Instacart in the U.S. where it'll do your grocery shopping for you. So if you're sick or you just don't feel like it, or if it's raining, you don't have to go to the grocery store and push the cart around and stand in line. They don't have that here. And I was like, that's a great idea. Instacart here would be fantastic because the traffic, even in the capital, Santo Domingo, traffic is horrible. You don't want to stand in line. You just don't feel like it. Instacart, I thought about that. I was like, I should do Instacart here, but I don't know. If somebody wants to do Instacart with me, let me know. You're going to make a bunch of money. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Think about like recycling here. The DR definitely needs to have a recycling program.
They have here that are missing over there, and then you bring some of the things over there. That would work.
Yeah, I mean, basically, when you think about a business, you want to think about solving a problem for someone, right? If somebody has difficulty getting their kids back and forth to school, maybe you have a transportation system. Like my son now takes a school bus to school. It's not sponsored by the school. So some private guy has a van and he's like, hey, I can do rides to school back and forth for this much money. So now I don't have to figure out how to get him to school or get him home from school. You solve a problem. Recycling. The DR needs to have, needs some issues getting recycling going. If you want to do that, that's a great option. Like I said, Instacart. Think like that. Think about things in the US that are really popular that work or wherever, and consider doing the same thing here.
Exactly. Yeah. That's like what you need to resolve the problem that people have. And now talking about your channel, what made you start your channel, and do you have any long-term plans for it?
So the channel actually was not my idea. There's a woman I know from home, and before I left, she told me, you have to get on YouTube. You have to start a YouTube channel and tell people about what you're doing. And I could not imagine why I would do that. I thought, like, who cares? But she said, there's a lot of people out there who will be inspired by your story and will want to hear from you how it's possible, what steps you took, especially like you said, as a single mother with a child, to show them that it's possible. And you'll find that people are going to contact you and they're going to want to hear more about your story. And that's exactly what's happened. And initially, like if you do look at my channel, again, it's free Island Girl. We're going to put the link in. At the very beginning, I was just like, well, I don't know, talking about it. Well, today I'm at my storage, then getting rid of my stuff. Another day I'd be sitting in my car talking about how I was feeling, I was tired, what have you. And then I got here and I was like, oh, the music is loud. And just talking about whatever I noticed going through the process. And now that same woman has said, well, now you need to start offering sort of services basically to people to help them walk through this, turn into basically like a paid service where I help people do what I did, get over their fear, connect them to different resources in the country, because now I have a lot of contacts with a bunch of people here to help them, like with moving or setting up a bank account or finding a place to live, or all these kinds of things, school, just everything. And so that's a possibility. I've said I was going to put some content out there about that, and I'm still kind of figuring out, which way I want to go, but that's what the next step is.
Yeah, I have the same idea, but I'm thinking to start doing it in Santo Domingo, so I can connect and do something about that, because I have some ideas and some things that I want to do.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love to.
Mm-hmm. So now about love and relationship. I'm sure that everybody want to know about this. What is your experience there, whether or not you can find or have a real relationship in the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, that one's a little tricky, I have to say. So as I said, I know someone who just got married. My friend in Punta Cana just married a Dominican man, and seems to be going well. He was married before, so he has children from another relationship. But I think pretty much everybody I know who's dated a Dominican or been involved with a Dominican, I'm talking about women dating Dominican men now, there's always some kind of tricky something going on. I think there's a lot that you can enjoy because, as I said in my video, when you're with them, you feel like, you get all this attention. It feels really good. But I've heard a lot of stories where there's another side to that. So I don't know that this country is so much different from other countries. I think men, they love women. They would love to enjoy women. And I get that. I understand that. But here it feels like it's almost like a sport. You know what I mean? It's like the more, the better. Like, what's the deal? So I think, like I said, as long as women keep their eyes open, and I saw something today that said, if you are in a relationship, or you're not in a relationship, but if you're going out with somebody, you meet someone that you like, whether you're a man or a woman, the one thing you can do to kind of increase your chances for success is not have any, you don't want to tie anything to the outcome. You don't want to think, okay, well, I want to have a second date with this guy. Now I want to have a relationship with him. I want to marry him. Just enjoy it for what it is in the moment. If you can just appreciate the time you spend, and then if he calls you up and he wants to go out again, great, appreciate that. But if you were thinking from the beginning, I'm going to get him to leave his girlfriend, I'm going to get him to leave his wife, or I'm going to get him to propose to me, I think that's when people run into trouble. I think you just come, appreciate what's available, manage your expectations and let it be that. Because otherwise, I think it can get pretty complicated pretty fast, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to see it. Yeah, don't get any expectations before time.
Yeah, you gotta take your time.
Take your time. And I have heard that you mentioned things that you need to watch out for in a person if they are looking to get involved with a Dominican, whether it is a guy or woman. What are the things that they need to be watch out for?
Well, there's some people here. So as I mentioned in some of my videos, this is a poor country, right? And so there are a lot of people who don't have access to a lot of the privileges that we have in other parts of the world. And one of those is like education. So a lot of people here, they might be really, really smart, but they don't have a lot of education, which means they don't have a lot of opportunity for certain kinds of jobs, right? Or certain abilities to take care of themselves and their family. And so they're looking a lot of times for a way to do that. And one way that people do that that's really easy is they want to hook up with somebody who they think has some money, whether you have or not. They may think that you have money, especially if you're American or European. And a lot of times, whether it's women or men, they'll want to be taken care of. They want you to like pay for them, to, you know, it might be dinners, but also just give them some cash, and that'll be used to help take care of their families. And I feel like it's understandable. You might not like that, but it's understandable. And then sometimes they just want to marry you quickly to get a visa out of the country. And I understand that too, because there aren't a lot of options for people here to necessarily get away from the Dominican Republic and get a chance to become educated, or to have, you know, to start a business, or get ahead in life. It may be even easier for us sometimes to start businesses because we can come with some money and, you know, open a hair salon or something. But for a lot of people who live here, it's not always that easy. So again, I just say be careful and understand what you're getting into. You know, if you're willing to help somebody, if you have the money and you're willing to help somebody with that, then fine. But otherwise, just be aware that sometimes that's what it is. Those, you know, act like they're in love, but they're not always in love. They're just hopeful.
Yeah. That's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, very open over there. And I just released a video about Sanky, which are Dominican men who target foreign women for sex in exchange of gift, money, like you said, etc. Have you run into any Sanky Pankies, and how do you identify a guy who is one?
I mean, I get a lot of attention from men here. And usually, well, okay, so where I live, it's a little town. And so a lot of the men, you can kind of tell just by looking at them that they don't necessarily have a lot to offer in terms of money, but they're friendly and they're like, you know, do that, or say something to you on the street. I'm interested in Sanky Pankies. And so if someone comes up to me and you know, I'll give you an example. There's a guy I met one night. I was hanging out with some friends, and he was really young. He was like 31 or something. I'm older than that. And he was just like willing to spend a lot of time with me, spend the night. And I was like, I don't even know you, right? But he was willing right then and there to come and spend time. He spent some time over the next few days calling me, and, you know, like really, 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 really wanted to spend time like right away with me. And I knew that was just something, you know, to benefit him, basically. It turns out he was a former baseball player and had been in the U.S. playing for a couple of teams, but was back here now, you know, and used up his money. And it's like, I guess the team used him up and then sent him back. And there's a lot of guys here who are former baseball players. It's not uncommon to meet them. But they're, you know, they don't have anything left. And so they want to meet somebody who will take care of them or pay for dinner. And I mean, you know, if I'm just, there's that, but also, so for example, there's a guy who's like our driver, a moto driver, and he always does errands for me, and he's taken my son to school a bunch of times. Sometimes I just give him extra money because he's just nice and he looks out for us. But there's no like other kind of involvement. He's just someone who helps us out. You know, that's purely like a business relationship. Sanky Pankies, though, it's easy. And for those who don't know, Sanky Panky is like people who pay for sex, or, you know, they have that kind of exchange. You can just make it clear by your behavior that's not what you're interested in. And so I've had no problem with that. I don't have any problem with anybody telling me or trying to get something from me, you know, because I'm just not open for that. They know that's not the kind of woman I am.
Yeah, you have those kind of Sanky Pankies, which is you have, I mean, they know, I mean, you know that they are clear. That's what it is. That is just an exchange, sex. And then when you have some that they be playing like they really like you, but they want to get something from you, and you don't know who their intentions is.
Yeah, usually it's people who, I mean, if they're really pressing hard right at the beginning, you know, it's like they're trying to get something really fast. And you can tell if people take their time, usually you have a better chance of finding out that they are really interested in getting to know you. Sanky Panky is like, they're just trying to quick, get it.
Yeah, they try real quick. I mean, they let you know
Yeah.
know what they are. I mean, you just give them a week, you will know what you have or what they
Yeah.
really are into it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, no me interesa.
And I know in your video, oh, no te interesa, no, no,
No,
Sanky Panky, no.
no, claro que no.
No te interesa Sanky Panky?
Nunca. No,
Sanky Panky are not good, so no.
no.
But now, I know that you have mentioned in your video before that Dominican men are very attractive. Would you be interested to have a relationship with a Dominican?
With a Dominican man, yeah. I mean, I'm open. I like men, right? I like male company. I like male energy. They're very handsome. A lot of these men here. A lot of them are very hardworking, and a lot of them treat women very, very nicely. And so, yes, if there's someone who's going to do all those things, treat me well and make me feel comfortable that there's not like 5 other women running around, then yeah, that he doesn't have that happening, of course. But am I interested in someone who's, got this here and that there and a woman hiding here and a woman hiding there? No, no. But yeah, I mean, of course,
Yeah.
I like men from all over. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean like any man, but I'm saying if someone is going to treat me nicely and be respectful, then yes, that's the kind of person I'd be interested in dating or being involved with. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we mentioned before that, a lot of them men in Dominican Republic, they don't make a lot of money. Let's say like the guy from here from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Is something that would influence your decision in dating a man over there, like if they don't make a lot of money?
Well, so I assume that most of the men here don't make a lot of money, right? It's not equivalent to what they would make in the U.S. And so if I were going to date a person, I'm not, like, I know some men here who I think are hardworking. I don't know how much money they make, but I'm assuming that whatever it is, it's less than their counterpart would make in the U.S. But that wouldn't disqualify them from me dating them. What I'm more interested in is how they treat me, right? Yeah, I mean, how they manage their money. If I see that someone makes a certain amount of money, but he's out drinking all the time, spending all his money on drinking or making bad decisions, that lets me know about him more than how much money he makes. But if I see that with whatever he has, he's trying to make good decisions, he's taking care of his home, he's taking care of himself, he looks good, you know what I mean? He's managing his life well, that's what I look at, right? Because I mean, you can always make money. You can find ways to increase your worth. But what's more important to me is somebody's character, right? That if your character isn't good, I can't work with that. I can't help you with that one, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's pretty much say everything, no, not everything, but a lot about you, about how you are. I mean,
Yeah.
by by your character.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And how I'm talking about for how long are you planning to stay in the Dominican Republic? Or will you consider to move back to the United States or maybe move some other country or other place?
That's a good question. I've been asked that question by people at home. I've thought about that question recently. My answer is that when I left the United States, my just kind of general thought, my ballpark thought was I would be here from 3 to 5 years. I don't know why. I just thought that's a good amount of time to give it a shot. So as I said, we're coming up on 2 years in a few months. And we'll be here for at least 2.5, because by the time my son finishes this school year, it'll be 2.5 years. I don't feel the need to move back to the U.S. right away because the U.S. is having so many problems right now. And as far as another country, I don't know. I'm open. My answer tends to be like, I'll know when I know. It's going to hit me. And I do feel like there's been some movement inside. Like I felt like, okay, I'm kind of feeling like I'm starting to consider other things, maybe part-time in the U.S., part-time here, part-time somewhere else. Like, I don't really know yet, but I'm starting to consider what the possibilities are. So we'll see. Depends if I meet a wonderful man and he makes me an offer I can't refuse. Hey, anything's possible. You know?
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good thing. And what are some of the things that you do there to enjoy yourself?
Well, I'm not as busy as people think. I'm not always at the beach, but I do like to go sometimes and just be close to nature. It makes me feel really good to be close to nature. So sometimes I'll just go like sit by myself and I have a notebook that I use, a journal a lot of times, and I just spend time kind of being quiet. I love the music here. I love it. Like bachata, salsa. I can have it on in my house sometimes and just enjoy it, or I can go out dancing with friends. I was taking dance classes, but my dance teacher is gone now for 3 months, preparing for the world competition in salsa. So I'm not having dance lessons right now. I do things like that. Yeah, he's really good. His name is Bolivar. If you're ever in the DR, ask for Bolivar. He's amazing. He's the world salsa champion right now. Sometimes I really just spend time at my house by myself and just enjoy the peace and quiet, you know? I don't always need to be around a lot of people and be busy, busy, busy. I think sometimes it's good to just be quiet and listen inside. That's kind of where I am in my life right now. It's like listening to how I feel and what I want to do so that I can make a good decision for what's good for myself and my son. But I have friends here. We hang out sometimes. They come over to my house. We'll swim. Might cook some food. I go visit them. We go dancing, go to a restaurant, just like any place else. Right now we're in Santo Domingo. We went to a mall today. We went to Agora Mall. When there's like a place, like an arcade place called Screamland. Took my son. We went on some rides. Go to the movies. Normal, just like anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I hear when I was talking to you, I heard that your Spanish is very good. And did you take classes before you moved to the Dominican Republic, or you learn Spanish while you were
No,
there?
no. I started Spanish in high school, in 10th grade. I actually started French when I was 7, and I started Spanish when I was 15. So I took Spanish and French all the way through college, and I was a Spanish major in college. So I've been speaking Spanish for a long time. I studied for a summer in Costa Rica, and I did another summer in Malaga in España. But my Spanish has gotten better since I've been here because, I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time. And like now I understand Dominican Spanish better. When I first got here, I was like, oh my gosh, what are they saying? Because you speak so fast. And there's a certain way Dominicans speak. No se dice, ¿cómo estás? It's, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo tú estás? Right? And I was like, what?
¿Cómo tú estás? Yeah.
¿Cómo
You
tú
have to
estás?
speak with the Dominican accent. ¿Cómo tú estás? They don't speak Spanish
It's,
proper. They just
it's
whatever.
like when I was in Cuba, I'm like, what? So I've gotten used to it. But yeah, my Spanish is pretty good. Um, and I would recommend for people, if you're thinking about coming and spending some time here, learn a little bit of Spanish. It's just polite to be able to say a little something in Spanish. You can take a class, but like I have on my phone now Duolingo to learn Italian, just because why not? Duolingo is free. It's a free app. You can practice. It's fun. And then when you come, you can say, ¿Cómo tú estás? ¿Cómo estás? And at least try. And then you can be like, no, 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 I don't speak anything else. But it's nice to be someplace and like offer that, like be part of the culture, like, at least give people the respect of being able to say hello or thank you in their language. I think it goes a long way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that learning the Spanish is that way you can even be better for you to go around and do the thing and ask some question, and you will feel more comfortable being
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now, Kelly, how can people? I'm sorry, what was that?
No, I was just saying learn some basic phrases, ask how much something is or be able to say thank you or just basic things. But yeah, that's all.
Yeah, yes, definitely. They need to learn. I mean, so at least some small thing they can get you around
Right.
easily.
Right.
Yeah, I teach some a little Spanish in my channel. That way, people they can at least use some of the words.
Right.
So, how can people get in contact with you?
The best way is to go to my YouTube channel. You mentioned it's called Free Island Girl Love, and you can leave me a message there. If you leave me a message and you want to get in touch with me, I will give you my email address. But I think the first step is probably to go check out my YouTube channel, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, excellent. And that, did you have any question for me?
When are you coming to the DR? Let's hang out. I see you have a lot of
December,
followers.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
see you've got
yeah.
a bunch of people following you, subscribers on YouTube. I think that's wonderful. You got a new one now, so I'm happy to have met you, and we can talk about how you did this amazing thing that you've done now. Sharing this information that you do with people. I think it's great.
Yeah, yes, yes. And I'm going over there, like I said, in December. Yeah, I really like your personality. I like how you are, how you see life, which is pretty much the way that I see it. And I'm going over there, and then we can hang out.
Excellent. Sounds good. Sounds good. I can't wait.
So it was very nice you in my channel. I think it's very, very good. So guys, that's all what happened today. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also to go and check Kelly's channel and subscribe because she have a lot of information. And if you want to know about Las Sobrenas and you want to go visit it and know more about the place, just go and subscribe to her channel and send her an email in a message first, and then she will give you her email.
Well, should I give the email now? I can give the email now. Yeah. So email me at kellyisgolden@gmail. KELLY is golden @gmail. There you go. Make it easy. But yeah, do go check out my channel and subscribe. That'd be great. Mwah. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.